A partly to mostly sunny good morning to you. I hope your day is going well for you, wherever you might be. Terry Henne here at Radio Center as we take a look at a pretty nice day today. Temperatures a whole lot different than what they have been over the past couple of days. But probably the big news is the humidity. Right now we're at 63%. That humidity will continue to drop down as we go into the afternoon hours, and not all that bad of a night tonight. For the most part, very nice sleeping weather. So as some folks have said so far this morning, it looks like you'll be able to open up the windows a little bit, let the air conditioner get a little bit of a break, and enjoy some very nice weather out there. As far as current temperatures, we're looking at 74 degrees at the airport. Here at Radio Center, we're at 75. Midland right now, downtown Midland is at 77. Downtown Bay City's coming in at 75. And we have, for the most part, a variable wind. It is trending a little bit westerly, but under 5 miles per hour as of right now. 63% is our humidity, 29.90, and steady is the barometric pressure. Our low pressure system off Quebec province, western Quebec province of Canada. There is a cold front associated with it that's running it to the east, actually through western portions of Pennsylvania and then down along the Ohio River. That front moved through. That was one of the reasons why we saw the weather that we saw yesterday. Quite a bit of humidity. It cooled off as we moved into the nighttime hours. And as that cooling process took place, once again, we saw some shower activity pop up around, but many of you didn't see much of anything. If it did come down, it came down real hard, real quick. A little clap of thunder here and there, a little bit of lightning. 0.4 of an inch, 0.5 of an inch reported in a few locations, but again, they were very sketchy and not very widespread at all. The majority of the precipitation measured under 0.1 of an inch. For most, it was under 0.5 of an inch. Spotty shower activity is still possible as we go into the afternoon hours today. I think maybe within another hour or so is probably going to be the extent of it. And then as we move into the afternoon, that spotty shower activity will dissipate and break down. The winds will pick up a little bit coming out of the northwest at about 10, 15 miles per hour as we go into the afternoon, and then drop off tonight right around 5, 6, 7, 8 miles per hour, mostly clear skies. And we'll be looking at middle 50s, 55 for a low tonight. Average for this time of the year is 61. And of course, the average high 83. So I guess you could say we're below average as far as our temperatures go today. Not all that unusual. A year ago, we were at 77 for a high and 59 for a low. And we picked up about 1/4 of an inch of rain a year ago. Matter of fact, a year ago, the first part of the month of July was pretty wet for a lot of folks. And out at the airport, we had measured for the first half of the month 4.65 inches of rain. As many of you recall, we went through an extended dry period that ran from toward the end of May all the way through the month of June and then into the first few days of the month of July. But then we got some pretty heavy rains, more than an inch, inch and a half, inch and 3/4 on a consistent basis for a few days. And that's what brought that precipitation tally up. So by the 17th of the month, we had 4 2/3 inches of rain. This year, as of right now at the airport, not even 2 1/4 inches of rain. Now, some of you, especially over in the thumb, northern Michigan, but more so southern Michigan, picking up quite a bit more than that. So in some spots here so far for the month of July, it has been pretty wet. And you can tell it with the crops because the crops, for the most part, are sucking it up pretty good. And they're looking very good. The latest crop progress report that I was able to take a look at yesterday indicated that majority of the crops are looking excellent. We have seen a little bit of an uptick in the soybeans as far as poor to very poor, somewhere between 3 and 4% now, registering a little bit closer to 8 and 9%. Sugar beets, though, for the most part, no big increase there when it comes to deterioration of the crop. The toughest crop right now appears to be the dry beans. So hopefully a little bit later in the program, we're going to have a chance to talk to Joe Kramer with the Michigan Bean Commission and get a status report there. Yesterday was a pretty warm day all across the country. Obviously, we didn't do all that bad. I mean, we didn't add to that total. Our high was 83 and our low was 67. Even down in Flint, 87 was the high yesterday and 69 was the low. But we had the most ever 100-degree days yesterday since the decade of the 1930s. So it kind of gives you an idea just how warm it has been so far this year in some spots in the country. I think a lot of us here in Michigan haven't been as concerned about the temperatures as we have had the humidities. We're running way much more humid than what we normally would be this time of the year. And it's a stifling humidity. Humidity levels in the mid to upper 70s and low 80s, where a humid day usually in Michigan is somewhere around 65 to 75%. So we've been more humid so far this year, but our temperatures have not really skyrocketed anything like what you would think. Tomorrow, carbon copy for the most part as far as our weather goes. 76 our high, 53 for our low. High pressure over Iowa is going to take over. Mostly sunny skies, clear skies with a light west breeze tomorrow night. During the day tomorrow, we'll have a north breeze, 5, 7, 8 miles per hour. That's going to be it. Then on Friday, a little bit warmer, sunshine. That high pressure moves into the Chicago area, 79 for a high on Friday, 57 for a low on Friday night. Then we move into the weekend and everything begins to pick up a little bit as far as the pace goes. We're going to be looking at temperatures in the low 80s to start off the weekend. I think it'll pretty well stay as far as Sunday is concerned, and even into Monday and Tuesday of next week. We're going to be looking at temperatures in that low 80-degree range with nighttime lows in the low 60s. Long-range outlook to take us all the way through the end of the month, the 30th. We're looking for our temperatures to average pretty close to normal for the next few days, starting with the weekend into the work week next week, and then finish off a little bit above normal. Precipitation values, for the most part, are not going to go way out of whack. We're looking for normal precipitation with maybe a trend towards slightly above normal once we move into the last weekend of the month. More on the weather as we go through the broadcast. Standing by, we've got Cody Harris over at Star of the West, Doug Klein from Oppenheimer as well, as we take a look at those markets. And they have been, as you just heard from the folks at Baird, all over the place today. But before we do that, we want to remind you the weather forecast brought to you by the folks at Nutrien Ag Solutions.
Nutrien Ag Solutions has the local expertise to recommend the corn, soybean, and other seed products that are the best fit for your field. Plus, unparalleled agronomic support with products and services to unlock yield potential and improve crop performance from planting to harvest. Ask about our financing options to help you get more from every acre and lead the field. Visit your local Nutrien Ag Solutions branch or go to nutrienagsolutions.com.
Say, do you want to unlock the secret to higher yields? If you're applying dry fertilizer, the key to better yield potential is Titan XC. Titan XC is a fertilizer biocatalyst that unlocks and releases the bound up nutrients in granular fertilizer, promoting better root uptake and plant growth. Drive performance this season and beyond. Release more nutrition. Expect better results with Titan XC. For more information, visit lpi.ag/unlock or contact your Nutrien Ag Solutions crop consultant today. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at the Michelson Crop Insurance Agency. I'm sure a lot of you are aware you do need to be prepared. We're not out of this yet. We've still got a little bit of growing yet to go, and harvest, hard telling how quickly that's going to come around for some of these crops. We're running way ahead Well, the folks at the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency are ready to take care of you because they are licensed to serve all of Michigan with both conventional and organic crop insurance. You can get hold of their agents directly on their cell for questions or emergencies, or you can contact them at the office, 989-868-4722. That's the Michael Sarr Crop Insurance Agency. Farm Service brought to you today by the folks at Legendary Tree Care. Remember, tree trimming, tree removal, you need them. No job too big, no job too small. They are fully licensed and insured, and they do specialize in those big projects. LegendaryTreeCare.com or like them on Facebook. We say good morning to Cody Harris over at Star of the West. Well, what are we looking at today, Cody?
Good morning, Terry. We actually got a good day here in the markets. We're kind of looking up across the board here midweek, so haven't been able to say that for the last couple of weeks or so. So it's nice to have this happen midweek here.
Well, you better read them quick before they go the other way.
We'll dive right into that real quick. We got cash and new crop wheat that's up 14 cents here today. 5.30 on the white, 4.55 on the red. Looking over at corn, cash corn's up 1 at 3.17. New crop corn up 2 at 3.46. Then looking over at soybeans, cash soybeans are up 6 at 10.57, and new crop soybeans are up 1 at 9.64.
Any particular reason why a little bit of a recovery here?
I think we're kind of getting a little bit of old school kind of midweek bounce. We've really hit some support levels across the board after sliding the last few days. I think you're seeing maybe a little bit of money come back into the buying arena as far as soybeans and wheat's concerned. Kind of wheat made a big jump this morning and dove in and found a little bit of news I think that's kind of really affecting that market. The Russian ag minister reported that one of the key growing areas of wheat in the Rostov region hit hard with drought and floods and frost. And he said that that area could be down 38%, according to the minister. And I think that really affected that wheat market this morning as we're kind of seeing a lot of that news just be international. But kind of got an old school bounce here, midweek bounce after hitting some support levels and maybe a little international news as far as Russia and Ukraine weather is concerned.
I had a chance to take a look at an article, Cody, and I don't really know, a lot about all the pricing and everything of fertilizer. But obviously, a lot of producers are going to be looking at expenses here, fertilizer costs. Fertilizer hasn't exactly helped us out price-wise lately, hasn't?
No, I know from guys I've talked to and even some guys here internally at Star kind of going through, it really hasn't been in lockstep with the grain markets as we've seen in the past. And that's definitely a concern with a few guys I've talked to. We've worked on a few marketing plans and trying to make sure we can minimize that expense as much as possible. But yeah, it definitely seems like that market seems to be moving a little less in the downward direction as maybe we would have thought of seeing these commodity prices and as well as far as the logistics of everything kind of being way more improved than it was during COVID when we saw those prices spike up. They really just haven't come down since then, it seems like.
Yeah. Well, keep our fingers crossed. Let's keep it moving in the right direction today, okay?
I'll see what I can do.
All right. Thanks a lot, Cody. Cody Harris over at Star of the West. A little bit more in depth as far as what the markets are doing. Doug Klein from Oppenheimer joining me. The market report brought to you by Thumb Bank, serving the needs of agriculture since 1895. They've got locations throughout the Thumb and the Great Lakes Bay region to help you stay to date on industry trends and the trends of your operation. Thumb Bank, where relationships are built on trust, an equal opportunity lender and member FDIC. And with the county fairs coming up, the Thumb Bank is going to be helping out the young people in the area. Next week, they're going to be over in Caro, Tuscola County Fair. The following week, Saginaw Fair. And oh, yes, incidentally, they've got their Great Lakes Bay region field day. So mark that down in your calendar. We'll have more details on it, but that is going to be August the 30th, or I should say July the 30th. So mark that down. Doug Klein joining me right now. Doug, what's going on?
Oh, looks like the Dow Jones hit an all-time high today, so they're hanging in there pretty good. S&P losing, NASDAQ losing more. DTE, Detroit Edison, hit a new high today, clearing 118. So that's positive. I guess that's all. Well, gold hit a new high today too. That just barely cleared $2,500, $2,500.50. And the British pound got a little more expensive today. Now it's up to $1.30 per pound. And I remember vaguely it was $1.60, 65 at one point. So it's got a ways to run if it wants to. So anyway, here's your number. September corn, 396.5, up 3/4 of a penny. December corn is 410, up 1 1/4. August soybeans, 1096 3/4, up 6 1/4. November soybeans, 1042, down 1 1/4. The September wheat, 543, up 12 1/4, and December wheat is 567 1/4, up 11 3/4. Crude oil is 80.86, up $1.15. Heating oil 248.68, up 1/4 of a penny. Gasoline 248.5, up 3/4 of a penny. Natural gas is 208.80, down 11.8 cents. Over to currencies, Canadian dollar. US dollar buys $1.3687 Canadian. That's up 16 ticks. The dollar buys 156.55 yen. That's down 179 ticks. So intervening, and that's got to be close to 7 or 8% since the intervention. So that's a big move. The euro's at 109.29. That's up 32 ticks. And the dollar's getting hit again. That's That's 103.82. That's down 45 ticks. Gold's at right now 24.8240, up $1.40. Silver's wild, 30.50, down 95 cents. Platinum's at 1,007.70, down $3.80. And copper's at 441, down 3.8 cents.
Silver's wild.
Wild. He's a wild child. Well, yeah.
I guess.
No doubt.
Well, every once in a while, it's got to wake up.
Yeah. God.
Doug, thanks a lot. You
Okay.
take care. Have a good one. All right. Doug Klein over at Oppenheimer. Farm Service brought to you by Freeland Bean and Grain. Serving you is their business. That's because they've got a great selection of products from Sure Crop and Nature's to help you increase your yields. And we've been telling you about it. We can't tell you enough about Certified Crop Advisor Vic Hupfer. He's got a lot of answers to questions that have been coming his way. And we're going to continue to get a lot of questions coming out because of, quite frankly, the tar spot and some of the other things that are showing up in the fields because our crops are so much advanced. We'll be talking a whole lot more about that in just a couple of minutes. Freeland Bean and Grain. They've been serving you since 1983. And this reminder, quality roasting of Reese. They're offering competitive, consistent prices for your soybeans right now, Mr. Farmer. And check them out on organic soybeans as well, delivered to Reese. Quality roasting of Reese. Give them a call for a quote today. We say good morning to Ed Garber. Not Ed Garber, Bill Webster. Bill, you guys all blend together because you know so much and you all know just about anything and everything I could think of. But I'm going to depend on you today, Bill Webster. What's going on out in the fields?
Because Ed Garber's in Columbus, Ohio, so he can depend on me.
Yeah, I think so.
In the field, I'll tell you, Terry, the crops look fantastic, and I think everybody needs to be planning on fungicides because with this weather we've had, it's just a breeding ground for tar spot, northern leaf blight, and don't forget about white mold and soybeans.
As far as the corn is concerned, you can walk around the fields and nobody's going to see you right now. That corn continues to grow, and with all the humidity and heat at night, and then the moisture, it's a breeding ground for just about anything and everything right now.
Yeah, particularly tar spot because it needs to have wet leaf surfaces for quite a few hours a day, so it's definitely a breeding ground.
As far as what should producers look for when they're looking for this?
Look into the lower part of the canopy, ear leaf, maybe the leaf below that, and look for these little black flecks on there. And if you can scrape it off with your finger, it's going to be insect frass. But if it doesn't scrape off, it's tar spot.
And as far as control goes, is there anything we should be trying?
Yeah, most of the fungicides work. There's some of them, I don't want to name any, but some of them work better than others. But it's about timing. Needs to be sprayed as soon as you see that. Ideal timing is R1 stage if you can. It depends on whether you can get an airplane, a helicopter, a drone, or a Henne to get it applied on the fall.
Yeah, and at this stage, probably the airplane is going to be the most practical because I don't know how do they have equipment that tall for some of this corn?
Yeah, the Henne sprayers are high. They'll go over it, but not every location has a Henne to work with. But the airplanes is probably your best bet unless you got too many windmills around you, and then they kind of avoid those.
Yeah, and the other thing is not all the fields are firm soil. We've got some wet out there too, don't we?
Definitely, we would have some trouble with ground equipment in some of these fields at the moment.
All righty. Bill, I appreciate you taking time. Drive careful. We'll talk to you again soon,
Will do.
okay?
Yep, thanks, Terry.
You bet. Bill Webster over at Nutrien Ag. Along with us right now, Jerry Samalski, Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. One thing about this weather, you haven't had any problem digging holes, have you, Jerry?
No, it's just leaning the shovel that goes in.
Yeah.
So, no, not at all. And Terry, we're just, since we're following up on funguses, I just thought maybe we could go that way too. So the turf grass, which corn actually is a grass, turf grass is, similar situation. Dollar spot has been evident, for weeks, if not a month and a half. We're getting necrotic ring spot. We're getting red thread. And the difference is they're trying to produce a crop and keep things as healthy as possible to perform seed to bring in that corn. All we want it to do is look good. And so the amount of spray and energy we're going to have to put into turf grass to keep the funguses out is almost not worth it. None of these will kill the plants. They'll leave a few little patches and the plant will grow through. The best thing you can do if you got fungal diseases is just to fertilize it, help push it through. And that'll really be the best thing at this point. There are fungicides you can treat, but you got to continuously retreat to keep it up in the system of the plant, and probably not worth it.
Probably not. Jerry, plan of the week tomorrow?
Absolutely. I have one, and I think we can even pronounce this name.
Wow. That's amazing. It's been a few weeks.
Yeah.
Jerry, have a good one, all right?
Yes, sir.
We'll talk to you later. Jerry Samalski over at Bay Landscaping and Garden Center in Essexville. Well, we talked a little bit about this guy earlier in the show. Joe Kramer, are your ears ringing?
I didn't happen to hear that, Terry.
Well, it's probably a good thing. No, it was good. We were talking about some of the crops out there and how well they are faring considering how wet it is. But probably the most reports that I've heard about anything that's having a difficult time, and we talked about it the last time, were the dry beans. What's the status right now?
Well, we all know that dry beans do not like wet feet, and I think everybody in the Thumb and Saginaw Valley has had enough water now to start to see some drowned out spots. If you go over on the east side of the state, I get some guys over there sending me pictures where they got tight tile, 20-foot tile, and they still got yellowing beans in between the tile. So we just need to shut that water off and let these things kind of do their best to grow out of it a little bit. But if you go over in Montcalm County, I don't want to jinx them by saying they look like good beans, and they haven't had good beans over there in a while, but they're thriving in this on their sandier ground. So they're feeling pretty good about it. I think we still do have some good beans around, but everybody's got a little bit of damage out there, and got to let it kind of grow through it and see what's left.
All right, Joe, you take care. We'll talk to you again. Okay.
Yep.
All righty, Joe Kramer with the Michigan Bean Commission. We'll be right back. Are you upset with your current planter performance? Are you considering buying a new planter but blown away from sticker shock? With Precision Planting's VSET, V-Drive, and Delta Force, we can retrofit your old planter to outperform any new planter on the market. Then access all your data from planting to harvest easily with Field View. Call PC Ag Solutions today and get your parts ordered, installed, and ready to go for the upcoming growing season. 989-868-4444. PC Ag Solutions.
We could try to explain what it feels like to get your work done on a John Deere. The way a Z-Track mower finishes in half the time you thought it would. How easily soil gets moved with a 1 Series tractor. Or how it feels to tow up to 4,000 pounds behind a Gator XUV. But if you really want to know what it's like to run with us, you just have to get in the seat.
Contact one of Tri-County Equipment's locations in Auburn Hills, Bad Axe, Birch Run, Burton, Caro, Fenton, Lapeer, Marlette, Reese, Saginaw, or Sandusky, or visit Tri-County Equipment online at tricountyequipment.com.
Along with me, Chuck Cervinsky, Maple Hill Nursery in Midland. And Chuck, from what I understand, a new product, Dairy Dew?
Yeah, it's one we haven't talked about much in the past, so I thought we'd touch on it. It's called Worm Dew. And Worm Dew are worm castings. And worm castings are kind of like the black gold of the garden industry. They provide a lot of benefits without the harmful toxins and pesticides found in traditional fertilizers. So a little different way to fertilize. Just a few of the benefits of using Worm Dew. It reduces soil compaction and increases water retention. Feeds beneficial soil microorganisms that you don't normally get with a regular fertilizer. It's safe for plants no matter how much you use. It's going to make your flowers look stunning. It'll increase plants' resistance to disease by boosting their natural defenses. And the easiest way to use this is just to top dress, flower pots and hanging baskets 1 to 3 times during the season is all you've got to do. And we've got it here available in 8-quart and 25-pound bags. But definitely a different way of fertilizing, but it really produces some good results.
So all we've got to do
is stop on in and we'll show you how to do it with Morgan Composting and Dairy Dew products.
Chuck Cervinsky, you have a great day, okay?
We'll talk to you Friday.
Talk to you Friday. Chuck Cervinsky, Maple Hill Nursery in Midland. Farm Service has been brought to you today by the folks at Krizak's House Family Restaurant. Need to supply the food for an event? 989-894-5531. Corner of Cass in Michigan on Bay City's south side. And our program brought to you today by the folks at Steiner Tractor. New parts for old tractors. Go to steinertractor.com. We now conclude our program with a playing of our national anthem, brought to you by Euclid Avenue Coins in Bay City.
Broadcasting from the Stormmaster Exterior Studios, WSGW, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland.